Fantasy Football Podcast. How we all doing today, ladies and gentlemen? This is a fun episode we got scheduled for you guys right now. Get ready, because this one is the inaugural, official, unofficial kickoff of our the Bush League Huddle Fantasy Football Podcast. Our season. This is what this is right now. So this is the first of many episodes for 2026 where we're going to be detailing a lot of our bold predictions. That might be a hint into this episode. Going over obviously our favorite draft picks for 2026, who we like, who we don't like, what scheme is going to work in their favor, what coaching staff is going to make the most impact, who got drafted where, who it's all the fun stuff that's going to be happening right now leading up to the beginning of the NFL season. That's what you guys have in store right now from June 9th today up until someone tell me when the kickoff is. September 4th ish, more or less, whatever. Let's just assume it's that around Labor Day. So that's what you can expect, along with some drafts as well. As long as we're going to be doing a lot of mock drafts from a 2 quarterback perspective, from a 1 quarterback perspective, from Super Flex League, and all that fun stuff. But this episode, we got 3 hosts. The usual, myself, Fab, we got Nacc, we got Roger, 2 very attractive gentlemen with me right now. We got a pool of about 20 bold predictions that we've put together. And we're going to be doing a snake draft, which is very exciting. Very, very exciting. So how the snake draft works, I'm sure everybody is very well attuned with how a snake draft works. There's only 3 of us, so it's going to go me, Rog, Nacc, and then it's going to go Nacc, Rog, Fab for round 2, and blah, 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 et cetera, up until about round 4. And how this is going to be is that we each picked our bold prediction that we stand by, and we're going to have to defend it all season long. And that's going to be the fun part because some of these predictions are wild, but it doesn't matter. I guess that's the exciting part of it itself. So the draft itself is it's every no one knows who's picking what. No one knows who's going to be taking who. So all the reactions you're getting right now on YouTube are going to be live, and there's going to be a lot of banter back and forth. This is going to be a fun episode. I'm super
Looking
hyped.
forward to it.
But before we jump into that, guys, please follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, for all your fantasy breakdowns all season long. As usual, send us your questions. I know the season is about to wrapping up, and a lot of draft guides are coming out and all that stuff. But we're in the thick of it all the time. You know what I mean? We're always listening to the news and everything. Even though the NBA and NHL playoffs are going on right now, go Knicks, go! But at the same time, we're always here for all that fun stuff. So please send us all of your questions. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm Fab. That's Nacc. That's Raj. I guess we just get into it right now. I mean, is there?
There's no draft chime. I don't have a draft chime.
There's no. What's the Yahoo draft chime?
That's it sounds like Mr. Bean.
Yeah. Anyways, so that unfortunately we don't have a draft chime except for that horrible vocals you just heard right now. But I'm going to jump into it all the same anyway. So my first bold prediction that I'm standing 10 toes down on this. 10 toes down on this from day one.
I love that we started with Fab. I love that we started with Fab.
And I'm ready to go.
He's gonna pick the biggest one right out of the gate.
No, it won't even that crazy.
He's gonna take the most sandbagging one.
It's
100%.
I'm sandbagging everyone on this one. And this one also, I was jaded last year, so there's a little bit of that in this too. Jaden Daniels finishes outside the top 10 in quarterbacks. Yeah,
you're jaded. Yeah, nice foreshadowing there.
I'm very jaded. Listen, hold on. I did a little bit of research on this because I don't think it wouldn't be fair to Mr. Daniels if I didn't. But from a points per game basis last year, he was QB 18. He did play 5 full games out of the 7. Sample size is small, but we've seen what the team is looking like right now. So him finishing outside the top 10 quarterbacks, when you look at how quarterbacks have been playing lately, I'm sorry. To me, this is I really see this. I really see this happening, and this is not a stretch of the imagination whatsoever. Jaden Daniels finishing outside the top 10 quarterback. Guys, come at me. Let's say what you want. I'm ready. Let's go.
I agree. This was pretty high up on my draft board, if you want to call it that. But yeah, injuries, like you said, it hurt him last year. And the offense doesn't look that promising going into the season. I think we spoke about this off camera a little bit
at your birthday
this weekend.
yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
And
your man
playing
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, Nacc, let me just interrupt for a second. I'm very sorry.
Here we go. We got to hear
This
it again.
first pick was done. Come at me, okay? I'm a man. I'm 40. Come after me, all right? Okay, now we're done. That's it. I just turned 40.
Did you have it for
42
your
weeks ago, ladies
75th
and gentlemen.
time that we have to give you your flowers?
Come after me. I'm a
We love
man.
you, Fab.
I'm 40. All right.
Yeah, so I
Totally
was
ruined Nacc's train of
speaking
thought.
about Jaden Daniels and how he was injured last year before, Fab had to cut me off because he's a man and he's 40, for those of you who didn't get that. But Ad playing in a very tough division now that really got significantly better on the defensive side of the ball, right? So there's 6 games right off the bat that are going to be super tough for Daniels coming off an injury as well. So yeah, like I said, this one was pretty high up on my draft board. I don't see an avenue. There's got to be a lot of QBs that get injured in order for him to sneak into the top 10, in my opinion.
Agreed. I'm okay missing the potential Jaden Daniels redemption arc if it does happen. Don't feel like they did enough on offense. The wide receivers, they only really relied on rookie wide receivers. Terry McLaurin is still kind of in an island. Yeah, they got Chiga Conquo, but even the running back situation is not great. I don't trust him, and I think he's an injury waiting to happen.
All right. So we're all in agreement. Fantastic. So moving on to pick 2 of round 1. Roger, take it away.
Yeah, I struggled with this one. Those 2 I really struggled with, but if there's one I really want to die on a hill is Colston Loveland as the overall tight end 1. I had Colston Loveland in a ton of leagues last year. He was absolutely fantastic, especially if you look at in the playoffs. Some of the fantasy playoffs, but also in the real life playoffs, he averaged 16.7 fantasy points per game. We saw what he did, obviously, against the Rams. We saw what he did against the Packers as well. We saw what he did even earlier on in the season against the Bengals. He looks like he's going to be an amazing, amazing player. Obviously, DJ Moore was traded to Buffalo, so he becomes the first de facto potential first option. We saw Caleb gain amazing amount of chemistry with Colston Loveland, especially in the second half of the year. And we know Ben Johnson's system is very tight end friendly. Even if they have still Cole Kmet, I think they drafted another tight end too, to me, be more of a blocking tight end. But I think he's Caleb's comfort blanket. And I think I'm all in on Colston Loveland, all in on him. And I really think this one is very feasible that he's the overall tight end 1.
Yeah.
Overall tight end 1 is a very, sorry, Nacc. Overall tight end 1 is too rich for my blood. I like him a lot this year. I think he can definitely push for top 5. But you're going to have a resurgence of Brock Bowers, who didn't play well last year at all. There's still Trey McBride out there who commands a lot of the offense. And you would think that Jacoby Brissett back in that offense too, it's going to be going back to Trey McBride a ton. And you saw how
if he's back. If it might be Carson back.
Well, yeah, true. But you just saw how that offense really blew up in McBride's favor the second they started throwing him the ball. And I don't see why that would stop. But listen, I'm not pushing back too hard on this. If it does happen, I think that's great because I think Chicago was a great offense this year. Number 1 overall is too rich for my blood, though.
Look, I had it as one of my picks for sure. I don't know if I would have gone this high with this one, but he did. Look, he finished as tight end 12 in his rookie year in PPR formats, but he really came on down the stretch. As Fab alluded to, you still got to deal with McBride, who's most likely going to, I feel, retain that title. And then there's Brock Bowers, who was injured most of last year, only played a handful of games. That's coming back. I know with a rookie QB, so maybe a little bit more difficult. But he's still got some pretty heavy hitters in front of him. I do definitely like it. It's gonna be tough for that tight end 1 overall. But I definitely do like his upside this year.
It's a bold one for sure.
Yeah. That leaves me with number 3.
So you're number 3, Nacc.
Excellent. I am going to go with, let me see, right here. I'm going to go with Kenneth Gainwell outscores Bucky Irving this year in fantasy football. So reasoning behind this is Bucky Irving still not healthy in the offseason, battled back injuries, leg injuries all of last year. Obviously, for a running back, that's not great news. Then they went to get Kenneth Gainwell, and we saw what Kenneth Gainwell did last year in somewhat of a starting role as well when Warren went down. He had a couple of 30-point games mixed in to end the year. Great pass catcher out of the backfield. I think it's going to play well in that offense. And I could see Bucky Irving missing, a good chunk of time again this year. And look, even when Warren came back, it wasn't more than a 50-50 split. Like Warren wasn't getting the ball more. Maybe they're just going to favor him. If Kenneth Gainwell is doing better than expected, they're going to give him or find more ways to give him the ball. So give me Kenneth Gainwell to outscore Bucky Irving this year.
PPR, man, he was amazing in PPR last year, and I think there's a lot within Bucky Irving from a size standpoint that I'm starting to be concerned of. The fact that he's still not 100% healthy after an injury that happened pretty much mid-year is very concerning in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to bring back some solid RB2 numbers throughout the entire season this year. You have no idea what's going on with Bucky Irving. It's very concerning, and he's a PPR merchant, like we just said. I like this pick a lot. He was very high up on my board.
He's a way better Rachaad White. Look at it that way. Think about Rachaad White was getting opportunities, getting touchdowns, getting PPR points. He's
better runner.
Way better than Rachaad White. 100%. He's a better runner as well. Exactly. Yeah. Rachaad White wasn't a good runner. He can actually run, and it just showcased what he could do. I don't think he ever got that type of opportunity in Philly, right? That's what kind of lacked. That's what kind of got him that small contract last season. But
look how the tides are turning. Remember when you guys thought Rachaad White was an RB1?
So moving on to next.
How did he climb up again?
Are you? Is it you?
Yeah, snake draft.
Yeah, it's Nacc goes back to back.
Nacc goes
back to back.
Twice.
Yes.
I go twice. So whose grass am I cutting now? Let me see. I believe I'm cutting Rogers' grass. I'm going to call it right now.
I know
I'm calling it right now. Parker Washington finishes as a top 15 wide receiver.
There's a lot of them that I liked. There was a lot of them I liked.
Yeah, this is.
I know. I felt like this was the grass cutter for sure. I know there's for sure more that you like, but yeah, Parker Washington really came on strong last year. Obviously to the demise of BTJ, who kind of just didn't show up. And down the stretch, man, that guy was putting up double-digit fantasy points, even like 18-plus fantasy points per week at one point, just dominating with Trevor Lawrence. And it just really continued. I think it was like the last 10 games of the year, they really, really went after Parker Washington. Wide receiver 2 all day, every day with Parker Washington this year.
Love how he plays.
Yeah, so quickly. Yeah, I love this pick too, and he was very high up on my board as well. He finished last year as wide receiver 27. It's a little bit deceiving because he ended the season with 3 straight games of at least 9 targets, at least 87 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. And we were saying it all throughout the end of the last season, like Parker Washington. Now Brian Thomas Jr. looks like such an afterthought in that offense.
Yeah, he led in air. Yeah, led the team in air yards after week 9. Like I was telling you guys, like I felt. He has some Amon-Ra St. Brown in him, like just the way he plays, the toughness he plays with. He actually likes going over the middle. So this was there's quite a few of them I liked, and this was one that I am very, very bullish on with regards to Parker Washington. So I'm next. Yeah, I'm next. So this is what pick my round 2. This is my second pick. Yeah. I'm gonna go very bold here, and I'm going to say Lad McConkey leads the league in receptions.
Jesus, what?
Lad McConkey leads the league in receptions. So the Mike McDaniel factor, in my opinion, is look, guys. These are bold picks. We're not here to sandbag.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no. Hey, so go for it.
Part of my reasoning is the Mike McDaniel scheme. We've seen what he's done with other wide receivers. He's been able to scheme other WR1s into having elite type of seasons. We know Lad McConkey can be a PPR machine. Yes, it was a down year last year with the Chargers offensive line, a Greg Roman offense that is always abysmal from a passing standpoint. I love the fact that they're going to be going to multiple tight end sets. Mike McDaniel is one of the most double tight end sets offensive coordinator in the league. And typically in 2 tight end sets, you're seeing obviously less wide receivers on the field. So I think McConkey is going to play a ton of routes, a ton of snaps. TBD who's on the other side, whether it's Trey Harris or Quentin Johnson. But I think they're in for, this is going to be the year, in my opinion, that we say Justin Herbert is really going to be an MVP. And for me, it's all the big time, the Mike McDaniel factor.
Yeah, listen, he would have to double his receptions from last year for him to finish as top in receptions. So that's my only concern. And I like Ladd McConkey. I do. Is he going to get 125 receptions this year? Hey, man, from your lips to God's ears, Roger.
So quick counter. Who here thought JSN was going to have 119 receptions?
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. But I don't think we should be comparing JSN to Ladd McConkey. Even from a standpoint of
they were drafted very similar last year. I don't think anyone saw what was going to happen with JSN. And one of the things I've constantly been saying is, and it's factual, that we have not seen the same wide receiver one back to back, I think, since Antonio Brown in like 2013 or 2014.
That's
I think he did it 3 years in a row.
Yeah, oh my God.
If memory strikes me,
Nacc would have that. Nacc would have that tattooed on his arm, most likely. Yeah, for sure.
The thing that's on his side is there's Keenan Allen's 122 targets that left town, and
you guys he's 122 years old.
No, 122 receptions that left town. Targets, excuse me.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a target share. For sure, that's going to be going to Ladd McConkey, and honestly, he's definitely like bounce back candidate central for this offense. And I think that Mike McDaniel's factor, you hit it on the head, Raj. 130, like that's usually like 125, 130 is what you lead the league in. Double, like again, I'm not going to compare him to his last year's stats because last year it's not who Ladd McConkey is. I think he's more of what we saw the year prior. Man, this one, it's definitely bold. It's definitely bold, not impossible. So I don't know. Well, I guess time will tell, but it's not as far-fetched, I think, as people will make it out to be. He is a PPR monster, especially that first year was insane. His rookie season.
Yeah, his first year at 82 receptions. Finished was fantastic. Yeah, for rookie, it's fantastic.
And a run-dominant offense with a run-dominant offensive coordinator.
But to counter all these points, he only had 6 less targets in 2025 than he did versus his rookie season. So it's not as if the volume wasn't there that much this year. Sorry, last year. Excuse me.
That's
the quality of targets probably wasn't as good because their offensive line was a bit of a mess.
Yeah,
I think Herbert really liked Allen too, though. He had that security blanket with Allen, and that's gone now.
That offense was a mess.
But that security blanket doesn't give enough reasoning for the difference in targets. It's only 6 targets. We're not talking about like 100. You know what I mean? We're not talking about it's 6 targets.
Again,
caught less.
Yeah, I think all fair points.
Yeah,
they have the tight end there that was around. They got Gadsden.
Yes.
They're gonna play. I think they drafted the tight end. They signed another tight end that David Njoku. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna play a ton of 2 tight end sets, which means they're gonna play way less 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, which I think opens up a lot of room for McConkey. Fab, you're next.
You know what? I had the 2 that I really wanted. I got them in my back pocket right now because I can go back to back. But I want to throw a little bit of spicy oil on this right now. So Roger, I'm going to continue on the same theme that is Mike McDaniel in that new offense, and I'm going to go with Omarion Hampton finished as a top 3 back.
Yeah, I love that one.
He was RB16 in a very limited time that he was playing as a rookie. He's shown flashes. Now he has the entire backfield to himself. Sure, there's Kamani Vidal there, no problem. You know what I mean? But I think right now you're going to see a big increase in his volume, and you're going to see what Mike McDaniel can do with this guy, and it's going to be very exciting. And a lot of people are talking about how this could be LaDainian Tomlinson-esque. Let's pump the brakes over there. Let's pump the brakes.
Yeah,
let's pump the brakes. But that would be good enough for top 3. So that's where I'm liking Omarion Hampton this year a lot. From from a draft perspective, I'd be very comfortable having him as my RB1 this year too. I really like how this offense is going to be very focused on him. And again, Mike McDaniel being there, that's a big that's a big jump. And we can't forget what he did with Devon Achane and in that offense in Miami. And now he's just the offensive coordinator, not just the offensive coordinator, but he only has to worry about the offense. So I think it's gonna be a lot more focused on how well this offense will run. So that's what's very exciting for me. So that's why for top 3 fantasy running back, yeah, 100%. I think I'm totally on board with that.
If I could just add something quickly, I believe he caught 32 passes last year in just like 9 games. That's like a 60 catch pace. Like no one really saw him necessarily as a PPR guy.
No,
if he could do that as well and rush the way Fab, you're saying he can rush. Like, I don't think your pick or mine can both be true.
Yeah,
I went with the bold one. I think yours is probably more likely, but I went with something that's bold because I believe in Lad McConkey, especially with like more 2 tight end sets. But I think yours is probably from a it has a higher floor, so to speak.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
This one was one of the ones I had, I think, at the bottom of the list. I think there's just way too many, for me, way too many running backs like a Gibbs, a Robinson, Taylor, Genty in year 2. There's still Cook that's there. There's still like Saquon Barkley, they're saying is going to have a bounce back year. Kenneth Walker in that Chiefs offense. I'm just like, there's so many guys that this one was really towards the bottom of the list for me, Omarion Hampton. Like, and I like the talent, and I love the McCarthy factor as well. That's a huge one, as well. It's just that I feel like this is way too rich. Like you're telling me this would say to me that in a let's say regular league, you're drafting Omarion Hampton 3rd or in the 1st round, which
you don't need to.
I don't know.
You don't need to get him that early.
Yeah,
no chance you need to get him that early.
For top 3 finish, like if we're projecting top 3 back finish, that's a lot of points.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't know. Look, I think ADP. I don't think ADP matters right now. Although it exists,
Sure,
it doesn't matter.
Sure.
I guarantee if whoever's drafting, even in like a month from now, Omarion Hampton's maybe going 2nd round or 3rd round.
100%. Yeah, I see.
And in 2 QB, probably even
third makes sense for me. But yeah, for me, it's just this one was personally was just at the bottom of the list of bold. This one's really bold. Let's just say.
Well, that was my first pick of sorry, that was the last pick of round 2. Now we're going to be going with the first pick of round 3. This one might not be as bold, but I'm still standing 10 toes down on this. And Roger, I'm sort of piggybacking a lot of the players that you like, but just on a different side of the fence a little bit. Caleb Williams, top 3 fantasy quarterback. When I saw this, I'm like, there's no way. And then I'm looking into it, I'm like, there's a big way. this is yeah. Like, I mean, the guy finished as quarterback 5 last year. Like it's Ben Johnson
Who was
offense.
injured last year? Who was injured last year?
Who was injured last year?
Mm-hmm. A lot of guys, but
a lot of guys,
injuries every year.
That's not a.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would be my rebuttal. But
so then he can get injured, or more people can get injured, and he finishes as quarterback 1, because that argument goes both ways for you.
Quarterback 1.
I'm just saying everybody can get injured every single year, though. Like, the fact of the matter is that the guy had a great season last year. It's another year in the Ben Johnson offense. There's more weapons to his disposal. He's getting more comfortable with the Dunes. You saw Luther Burden come in, Colston Loveland. Hey, man, their offensive line is good. They're running the ball really well, and he works great in that offense. So, yeah, you want to tell me about how he can't finish as a top 3 quarterback? No. He only finished – he was 30 points out of top 3.
And Nacc, like, sorry, Fab, Nacc, you're typically the second-year QB whisperer. Like, he got better in his second year in a new offense, in a very difficult new offense. The devil's advocate is, hey, like, he has to hit his layups. Like, he can't just rely on the jump man throws and the freaking run backwards and throw to Colston Loveland. Like, he needs to see clear progression on that front, but very, very high on Caleb, as you guys know, and I think this one is pretty feasible as well.
Yeah, so like I said, my devil's advocate to that is, am I saying he's a bad QB? Absolutely not. He did finish QB 5 last year. I think that is his ceiling is that QB 5, in my opinion, with the big hitters that are still in here. We're talking the Josh Allens, even Drake May, Joe Burrow, when and if he's healthy. And I think, as you mentioned before, Justin Herbert is. This is the year that he's got to perform, and I think with that offense, it's going to be great. He's on a great trajectory, Caleb Williams. And we're talking fantasy QB. I just don't think he has enough to hit that top 3.
And those are my back to back. Raj, we can continue with your pick now for round 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with another bold one. I think I'm just going with bold ones. I think you guys are gonna laugh me off the pod. But Chris Olave finishing as a top 3 fantasy wide receiver. Look, he caught extreme amount of fire last year. Like 24 catches, 352 yards, 4 touchdowns across his final 3 games. Tyler Shuck was tremendous. I think Nacc, you had him in Bush League, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you had him or. Either way, whoever had him,
Lucas had him.
Yeah, whoever had him was really reaping a lot of benefits at the end of the season. We saw him ascend, and Kellen Moore runs like a very fast-paced type of offense. I think this benefits Chris Olave. Obviously, Jordan Tyson being drafted really helps too. You know, they made some improvements on the offensive line as well. And again, I'm just banking on the fact that there's kind of the top of the wide receiver room or chain in fantasy is always different. So this is one that I really like. So I was happy to get it this late, but this is one I really want him in many of my teams next year, this coming year. Sorry.
The injury
I like this.
Always hurt me with Olave. He's like that one hit away from like career ending. It scares me, this topic. But you're right. He had an incredible year last year, and hopefully for him, like I'd love for him to continue. Like I love the player, just scares me. The injury with him just scares me, and that's one of the reasons why he went so late in drafts last year.
Yeah, that's a good point, but I think he's getting a lot less hospital balls with Shuck in that offense, and I think it shows, right? Because he's been the guy who's getting all the freaking hospital balls, and we saw that from all the quarterbacks that were throwing to him. Now it's different. Now I guess he's getting a lot safer balls, and then you add the fact that they added who's that wide receiver there that they drafted?
Jordan Tyson.
I forget his name. Thank you, Jordan Tyson. I mean, yeah, you can argue there's gonna be less targets for him, but at the same time, there's also gonna be less pressure on him too. There's gonna be less coverage on him as well because now Jordan Tyson would assume would be promoting the two. I had him pretty high up on my draft board actually. This one, so I'm right there with you, Raj. I think it's not. I like this call a lot better than McConkey. Put it that way. I think this is much more reasonable.
Yeah. That's fair. I think also we forgot to mention Travis Etienne. I think that's the new spelling. Travis Etienne as the new running back in New Orleans. Let's see what happens with Alvin Kamara. There's talk that he might still come back. And if Kamara's back as a backup running back, third down guy, I think that offense becomes a really, really interesting unit.
Yeah.
Nacc,
just one final thought. Again, we spoke about it before. The sophomore QBs. I'm curious to see what Shuck looks like in his second year with tape on him now. Curious to see what he's going to look like.
Yeah, that's always a fair point, for sure. Nacc, you want to close off? Is it round 3?
Yeah, round 3, and then he starts
3.
round 4.
Yeah, I will go with. Here we go. Malik Nabers plays less than 5 games in 2026.
I knew it. I knew nobody else was going to pick this except for Nacc.
This is just for the acid. I know I could have gone this. I could have gone with my last.
You should. This could have been your first pick overall. Would have made sense.
No, I had to play my odds here. Look,
what odds?
The injury news has been terrible all off season. He had to have another surgery on his knee. Looking like he may not be ready to start the year. And there's also rumors of him starting on the PUP, which would have him miss the first 6 games. So right off the bat, you're at 11. look, he's been injured every single year that he's played, and he's missed a lot of games in his short NFL career. I don't think it's as bold as a prediction as people would think. Maybe less than 5 is kind of bold, less than 5, but yeah, I don't know. He's just the injury troubles all his whole career up to date. So I'm just not optimistic about Malik Nabers in 2026.
The concern I have is the type of injury that it is. Does he start off on the pup? And if he doesn't start off on the pup, is it, they try him out a few games, they realize that it's not working out, then they sit him. And if the Giants season isn't going well, we hope it goes well, but if it's not going well, is it one where they just say, like, let's just park him for the rest of the year?
Yeah, players hate that though.
Yeah,
usually
for sure.
Players come back, but if they can, I guess. But
there's a lot of not in, like, there's a lot of missing information in this. You've seen him in training videos, and you see him actually cutting and all that stuff, and then you see him playing a softball game where he's gingerly limping over to first base. So, like, I'm not really sure how to feel about this. I think I think he misses like 6 games in the season. I really do. I think that's more realistic. But if he plays less than 5 games, then, like, I really hope it's because, like, they sat him. You know what I mean? Like, he comes back at the end of the year and is like, screw it, type thing. The thing that I don't like about this bold prediction is that him playing less than 5 games means he got injured again.
Yeah.
And that's just what I don't want. That's sort of where I'm at on this. But yeah, we'll see.
Nacc, it's you again.
yeah, first pick of the last round. It's going to be. I'm actually curious as to how this stayed on the board this long, but I'm going to go Devon Achane outside of the top 15 in running backs this year.
Yeah, I like that.
The team right now is completely. It's nobody's. That offense is horrible. It's literally Achane, and that's it. There's going to be some Malik Willis in there as well, who's going to potentially steal some fantasy points from Achane. But that team is going to be behind in every single game this year. They might literally go 0-17. Like, it's legitimate possibility with the team, with the roster they have on offense. And maybe, like I said, it's going to be one of those things where they just signed him, prize possession. Like, if you get to a point where you're 0-10, you're 0-12, like, are you trotting out Achane full go for this whole season, or are you going to try to limit his touches to go into next year fresh and hopefully not get injured? I'm just concerned about everything Miami right now, and I just wouldn't back Achane to get into the top 15.
I got nothing against this. I'm fully on board. This was pretty high up on my board as well. Yeah, he's the only thing in that offense, so they're going to be stacking the box. Period. That's it. That's how I see it. Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding for Devon Achane in that offense this year. I'm not very excited about it.
Yeah, I'm concerned about his receiving yards, especially with a rushing QB.
Yeah,
much easier for the rushing QBs just to run instead of throw to the flats.
Mm-hmm.
My turn with my last pick of this draft. I'm going to go back to the old well, a safer one. Derrick Henry, top 3 in rushing yards at age 32. This one is hard, I think, because we keep trying to say, like, when is Derrick Henry? When is the father time gonna grab him? But I think the Ravens brought in a new offensive coordinator. So Declan Doyle was the OC with the Bears, and we saw how good the Bears rushing attack was. They're going to leverage a ton of 2 tight end sets. They're going to stay with the same type of zone running scheme that Derrick Henry usually loves. And I think with a lot of pre-snap motion, multi-tight end sets, I still think Henry is primed for at least one more top rushing season. We need Lamar Jackson to obviously stay healthy, but we saw what Henry did, especially last year towards the tail end of the fantasy playoffs. He was absolutely fantastic. Most notably the Green Bay game.
I was going back and forth.
You cut my grass, Roger.
Yeah, I was going back and forth with this one. I was just like, I think Father Time. This is the time where Father Time says, okay.
You think that's it?
I don't think he's top 3 in rushing yards. This is going to be Like if he does it now, it's like truly, truly impressive. Like really, especially with the miles he has and the beatings like the hits that he takes and break. Like it would be very impressive. I'd be very impressed if he does that.
Guys, question Derrick Henry's aptitude at your own peril.
Yeah,
I was gonna take this
we got last
I was
year.
gonna take this and I was gonna do this number one overall. That's how serious I am with this. Because last year he finished second in rushing yards. The year before he finished second in rushing yards. 2023 he finished ninth or something in rushing yards. 2022 second in rushing yards. Like I know
Yeah, we
history
got
doesn't
last
always
year.
repeat itself. And so, I'm sorry, like I will continue to pick Derrick Henry until the wheels fall off. I'm sorry. The only negative I'll say to this pick for next year is that about I think like 400 of his rushing yards came in the last like 5 games.
Yeah.
So that's the only there was a lot of it was backloaded. So from a fantasy perspective, this might be a little bit more of a tougher sell. But in real life, I would not bet against Derrick Henry not finishing in the top 3 in rushing yards.
Yeah. Another devil's advocate, they lost to Lindenbaum. They did gain the new guard, Vega, I forgot his last name.
Tucker Vega, Tucker.
From Penn State. Ione, thank you. But there has been 1,000 and even close to 1,500 yard rushers at age 32. I think Thomas Jones, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith's done it. So and that's like elite company. Like Derrick Henry's elite company.
Derrick Henry he's going to be the benchmark.
Yeah,
he's not going to be just a comparison anymore. He's going to be the benchmark.
I'm not counting him out until I see it. When I see it that he's done, and because I counted him out 2 years. I counted him out 2 years ago.
You guys got got. I didn't get got. You two got got.
3 years ago, I said he was absolutely done, and I completely regretted it. I told myself I'm not counting him out until he actually has that down year. So who's gonna finish?
Last pick of the draft.
Yeah. Last pick of the draft. We're gonna make this one a doozy, ladies and gentlemen. Bijan Robinson breaks 450 fantasy points and the all-time record for rushing and receiving yards. Let's do it.
Nuts. This one's nuts. I loved it, but this one's nuts.
Why not? Why? You know why? Because it's year one without Algier, who's been in his backfield ever since the guy got drafted. And it's about time this guy just blows up like he's supposed to, like he's expected to. And you know what? For him to hit 450 fantasy points versus what he had last year, it's an extra 4.7 fantasy points per game. It's not crazy. It's not crazy to do. It's not. It's like,
we'll multiply that by 17. That's the crazy part.
Well, that's how I got to that number. I divided by 17. So like, just to say, it's not that crazy. And he's not that far off. And I think it's very realistic. And I think this offense can pop. And he's going to be the reason why. So I'm booking this in. I'm sending another 10 toes down on this. I like my predictions. I think all my predictions are going to happen. That's just
of course you do.
No Algier and no Arthur. Yeah, Fab loves his team. What a surprise!
I mean,
no
come on,
Arthur
are we
Smith
kidding?
and no Tyler Algier. This is the year he can do it.
If there was a year to pick,
this one is super bold.
Beautiful. I'm drafting. I'm drafting second overall. Thank you.
100%. You can have the exact same argument, and I know this isn't a bold prediction, but Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson will feed families this year. With everything that I've been hearing about them, they will feed families this year. Like you were picking them if you're 1 and 2.
Families last year,
and they fed families last year. Imagine. So this year, everyone's going to be everyone's going to be really well fed. So yeah, I don't know. I just like how this is going. I like the trajectory, and so that's it. So those are the ones that we had. Want to just recap quickly which ones we did not pick that did not make it. So we had Eli Stowers, I believe, outproducing Dallas Goedert. We had.
I like that one.
I like that one too. I'm not that crazy.
That was one of my my yeses.
Yeah.
I had that one high up too. Josh Allen below 10 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, this one was not even on my board at all.
No chance.
14, 12, and 15 rushing touchdowns in the last 3 years.
That's really hard to take.
He's basically their goal line or short yardage back. Like that's what it is.
100%. Yeah. Puka Nacua and JSN finishing outside the top 5 wide receivers.
Both?
I actually
Nah.
had this a little. I had this. It was
One
like
of them, yes. I think one of them is fair.
Yeah,
Both,
one would have been
one of
fine.
them is
Both,
yes.
that's tough.
both is really
That's
bold.
So
tough.
I quickly,
That's
I have an
bold.
argument for both of them on how it could happen.
Yeah.
Puka, the whole thing about the rehab
Yeah.
and everything, and just maybe he just falls off from a professional standpoint. Who knows? JSN might regress from a Darnold standpoint if defenses have figured out that offense a little bit. And I'm saying regress to the point where like he goes down to top 5.
I don't like the Darnold regress because he's done it two different years and two different offenses. I think Darnold is him now. I think we got to respect Darnold.
It's more you have
Very fair point.
You have to think Drake. A lot of people thought Drake London would be top 5. What happens with AJ Brown? Does he jump in? CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's going to be back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well,
another one we had.
He's got to compete with Pickens.
Yeah.
That one's going to be tough for top 5, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Another one we had that we didn't pick was Kyren Williams finishing outside the top 25 running backs.
I thought you'd take that one.
I was very close. 25 was rich for me.
He loves Kyren way too much to take that one.
25 was rich for me. I thought if it was top 20, I would have said yes. 25 was rich for me.
That's high.
But I can see it. I can see him finishing as a low-end RB2. But then I was looking at his numbers. I mean, the guy had he had more yards. He was more efficient this year than last year. Sorry, he was more efficient in 2025 than he was in 2024, despite having less carries. So I don't know. I think the fact that he's going to be a little bit more fresh is really what they're going to want to do, and they're going to the Rams are playing for the Super Bowl. Like they're going to need him when the games really count. Another one that we had was Jalen Hurts throwing for 33 plus touchdown passes. Never in my life was I ever going to choose this one. Ever.
Zero.
I think he's due for a bounce back. I think he has a huge chip on his shoulder. I think he's been doubted so much this offseason that he's going to want to show people what he could do under center with an OC who's going to force him to play under center and force him to throw over the middle.
Funny, he's had his best year in passing touchdowns was actually last year, and it was 25.
Yeah.
He's had 23 or less in his whole career every season. I don't know how he got out. And now AJ Brown is left, so he loses a pretty good, talented wide receiver.
Yeah, but Nacc, you're forgetting who we got doing.
Yeah, still a rookie.
Exactly. Another one that we didn't pick was Brock Purdy, 40 plus total touchdowns. No, this one too was he never had more than 33 total touchdowns, and that was in the 2023 season. That was like his most productive season.
It was 31 passing.
That was
his
highest. Well, it was another two rushing touchdowns.
He's a good runner. Like he's an underrated rushing player. But it wasn't thrilling, that one.
And the last one that we did not pick, right?
Two more. There's two more.
There's two more.
There's two more. Oh, there's a DeVonta Smith overall wide receiver 1.
I like that one a lot.
And
overall wide receiver 1 season.
I like that one a lot.
Like wide receiver 1 overall, top 12. Like number
in fantasy.
I think he's going to show up and show out this year. He's an amazing player, and he's going to show why he was a Heisman Trophy winner as a wide receiver.
Listen, I've never had anything against him. I always thought that the guy was brought into an offense. He was never the guy.
I didn't draft it.
So I
didn't draft him. So that should show you how much confidence I have. But I really like him as a player. And again, bold prediction. It's could happen.
What's the sorry guys from my
Tyler
count?
Algier outscores Jeremiah Love is the last one. I didn't like that one.
I was middle of the pack on this. I figured maybe they might bring in the rookie a little bit slower, and Algier might still have a role in this offense because they did sign him to have a role, and maybe he might be that big bro to Jeremiah Love in the beginning. So I can see them being very close to each other throughout the season until eventually maybe when Jeremiah Love does take over. But I didn't hate this one. I didn't hate it.
I think when you draft a guy that high, he's going to be your starter, and he's going to be forced to play like Alshon Jenti the year before, and just like all of these high-profile big picks, running backs. When you pick one that high, like that guy's in your starting offense, and he's playing every down. Algier's for sure going to spell him, but I can't see an avenue where this guy gets outscored. We'll see.
Oh. I feel like Algier almost did that. I feel like he almost did that Bijan's rookie year, but He was really
yeah?
annoying. He was really annoying to have.
It was very
Yeah,
frustrating. That
Smith,
offense was very
Arthur
frustrating.
Smith, man.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith was annoying.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These are our bold predictions for the 2026 fantasy football season. I mean, I think I speak for all of us on this phone call when I say that Fabio killed this draft, but that's just my idea. Obviously.
Phone call?
Sorry, this podcast. That's just my idea. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this wonderful episode. This is going to be some of the content that we have ready for you guys in 2026. So a lot of similar stuff like this, where there's going to be a lot more banter and conversations and bold takes and 10 toes positions that we're going to be taking down on. So this is going to be a lot of fun stuff. And that pretty much wraps it up for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for sticking on this ride this whole time. You can follow us as usual on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. For the Bush League Huddle Fantasy Football Podcast, I'm Fabio. That's Nacc. That's our resident New York Knicks fan, Roger. Thanks for coming out, everyone. Peace out.
The bodega knows my order. The subway smells suspicious. The rent's too high. Nixon 5.
Nixon.